Hello, everyone, and welcome to
Episode 12.
of Road Trip Wrestling. Road Trip Wrestling is a pro wrestling themed travel show. Each episode, we take a look at a different pro wrestling company and watch one or two of their events. We then sit down and digest what we saw and have a little chat about it. Join us on the adventure through the world of professional wrestling, the highs and lows of what the current product looks like. Get in the car and join us on the road. In the driver's seat, as always, I am popular Paul Rogers. My guest with me today is the would-be five-star man if it was in Tokyo Dome, but is 4.75 for today, Mr. Jacobs. How you feeling, Mr. Jacobs?
I'm all right, man. Thanks for having me on once again.
Oh, it's always fun having you on. And speaking of fun, we're gonna start a little game. We're gonna try it out because on big road trips, everybody has their road trip games. Well, back in my day anyway, and we would have like road trip bingo. So I'm introducing the road trip wrestling bingo card. I'll put the link in the description, but basically it's just a little bingo card you can play along with us of things that happen in professional wrestling events, and if they happen on your card, you check them off and hopefully you get a bingo. Now, I asked you earlier if you could have 5 things that you could put on the list. Can you think of 5 generic things that could happen on any show at all?
Okay. Do you already have Dusty Finish?
I can put a dusty finish.
All right, Dusty Finish is a good
That's
one.
one. Yeah.
Um, let's see. I think you already have Heel Turn on it, don't you?
Heel turn. This
Yeah,
is a
Heel
this is a
Turn.
new list, and only me and Jason have added in, so it's very
Mhm.
basic stuff. So I'm sure whatever you come up with will be perfect for the list because these are great
All
so far.
right. Any match with fire?
Any match with fire, so tables, ropes,
Mm,
2x4s, what
Everything.
have you. Okay, yeah.
Everything.
So number 4, what do we got?
Let's see. Oh yeah, I thought about this one. A match where animals were involved in some kind of way. Because I have seen matches where
Any
animals
kind,
came into play.
any kind of live animal. So Cody bringing the dog, Coco having a bird, Jake having a snake. Yeah, these are all 3 of those were different companies for the
Yep.
most part. Well, they could be. One last thing to add to the list. You smashed through those. Those were great.
Yeah, I've had a lot of thought about this. Let's see. There's another one that I've been thinking about. Um, like as far as women winning men's championships.
Women winning traditionally men's.
Right.
So if it's an intergender championship, it does not
Hmm.
count for this. But if it's
Right.
China winning the intercontinental championship, bang on. So
Right.
that sounds great because yeah, all 5 of those things could happen in literally any company.
Mm.
So that's perfect. Okay, so slightly moving on to the topic of today, but without getting there entirely because I'm stubborn. We're going back to 1995 and 1996. So I thought, let's pull up the Wrestling Observer Newsletter Awards for 1996 and just go there. I'll just smash right through them and you can make your comments on them.
Hmm.
Best in Interviews, Stone Cold Steve Austin. Most Improved, Diamond Dallas Page. Tag Team of the Year, Masawa and Jun Akiyama. Feud of the Year, NWO versus WCW.
That makes
Most
sense.
Outstanding, Rey Mysterio. One more, Wrestler of the Year, Kenta Kobashi.
Hmm. That checks out though. Yeah.
I feel like
That
that's a
check.
nice spread. It's like
Yeah.
Misawa, Akiyama, and Kobashi are known as like some of the greatest of all time, and Stone Cold, Diamond Dallas, Rey Mysterio.
Yeah. That
They're
all fits
also
within the
some.
time. Yeah. I can agree with that.
Yeah, yeah. It would be hard to argue with any of that because DDP. Oh my gosh, did he improve during this time?
Yeah.
But getting to why we are here, the topic of today is ECW. We are watching an episode of Hardcore TV from the ECW arena, or what we have behind us, the 2300 arena. I went on Google Earth. I saw the front of the arena. I'll take a photo. Ooh, they have a back in time mode. I went all the way back in time I could. Don't. Look at this. It looks great. We're moving on. Don't look at what it looked like in 96. It's disgusting. But I believe the ECW arena back then was like a community center,
It
bingo
was like a
hall.
bingo hall, yeah.
Yeah, I think they did like a couple other things, but it was mostly known as a bingo hall. Everybody made fun of bingo hall wrestling. But
And like for
now
the
when
city,
you
and like for the city parades, they would also store the floats and stuff in the ECW arena, which is
yeah,
where Al
that's kind
Snow
of
got
cool.
the head.
I'm a bit of a softie for that kind of stuff because that's community stuff. So it's like, oh, okay,
Hmm.
that's fun. But if you look at the modern 2300 arena, if you go on Google, it says music venue, live performance, improv, comedy. So they've taken this stingy little community center, this crappy little hall, and from 1996 all the way to 2026, they finally
Yeah.
brought a little bit of respect to it. But it's been a long haul. Yeah, so the shows we are going to watch today are from December 17th, 1995, and the second show, spoilers, is going to be from February 20th, 1996. And the reason we are watching this is Mr. Jacobs picked ECW. Is there a reason why you picked this company at this period?
Yeah, it's for me because at the time I was a young wrestling fan, just discovering a lot of wrestling, and I stumbled upon ECW by accident. To be honest with you, I was just channel surfing one Saturday night, and back then, I mean, at the time I didn't have cable, so you had to use the
The
antennas
bunny
or
ears.
the bunny ears or coat hangers. Those work too. But yeah, I would be channel surfing, and one night I stumbled upon this wrestling show, and it was I do remember it was RVD in a match with somebody, I forget who, but it was very grainy and very staticky because at the time it was all analog. But I sat there and watched the whole damn show, and I fell in love with ECW. And at the time, they never promoted it. You had to be a super fan to watch ECW at the time because there were no TV promotions, nothing like that. As far as outside of New York or New Jersey and all that, you had to be a true fan to catch it on TV.
Yeah, we never had it up here. It was not that big to make it all the way up to Canada and Ontario. Like later on, we started to get the DVDs and stuff. But yeah,
Hmm.
when it was this iteration, this 95, 96 iteration of hardcore TV, we did not get it. Not to like dig in a point, but how old were you in 1996?
Let's see, in '96. I had to have been around, I would say 10. Well, I want to say 11, maybe 10 or 11, maybe 12. I was going into
Okay,
my
so we would
teenage
have
years.
been in a similar age grade because I would have been 10 or I would have been
Hmm.
9 February 96. So we're kind of the same age. So I thought maybe you're in a different bracket and you have those different memories. But
Hmm.
yeah, my memories start with that DVD wave that WWE did in the early 2000s where it was like uh, blood sport. I literally have it here. I've had this DVD for 20 years. One of these
Nice.
old, it's got Tommy Dreamer and Sabu and one of the Tanaka and Awesome. And yeah, when
Oh,
I
they
was
had some of the
15,
best
16.
matches. Oh,
Yeah,
that's
it
that
was
is awesome.
def- definitely an exquisite time period. If you're looking for a history of ECW, I'm going to admit it, there are better places than here for that.
I know a
Honestly,
little about
I'm
it here and there.
yeah, so I'm just gonna be self-aware and like I can't tell you the owner and blah 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 because honestly, there's a million and one documentaries about it. You
Yeah.
can look up any YouTube podcaster, and OSW has a good history. Shane Douglas throws down the belt, and Terry Funk, and there's lots of history, but there's better people than us to edit it and put it together. So we won't be doing that. We'll just be giving our sort of interpretation of what we watch as we go through it, because that's what we do best here. Not necessarily the most historical breakdowns, but is there anything you want to mention before we sort of get into the arena and take a look at the card?
I do know that the beginnings of ECW was a special thing, and it was a huge moment going from Eastern Championship Wrestling into Extreme Championship Wrestling. Um, there was a whole big dispute behind the scenes about everything, but Todd Gordon and Paul Heyman worked out this crazy angle and deal where Shane Douglas would throw down the title and reclaim it as the ECW title. That I mean, it's special in its own way, and maybe one day eventually we'll get talking about the whole birth of it all. But yeah, from the beginning all the way to the end, I think that ECW is one of those companies that I think is kind of an example of what you can do with some ingenuity, some creativity. You don't have to have a lot of production. All you have to have is good talent and a place to put it all in, and some, and
Well,
in
it's
a well
something
lit
we
room.
can it's something we can touch on before we kind of dive into it. Is it's a very sort of like uh, grassroots punk rock feel.
Right.
Like nothing about this is amazing, but they're kind of trying their best to put it together, and you get that feeling watching it. But um, yeah, I don't want to put all the ending at the beginning. So if you're ready, we can start running down this show because
I'm ready.
there's a little bit of to get through. Okay. All right, so I'm going to start off by saying they were worried about attention spans in the 90s. I'm just
Very
going to say
much
that
so.
now, and we'll get into the show because we opened with a Beulah McGillicuddy promo. I'm
McGillicuddy.
sorry, it took me. Thank you very much. And she says this is Beulah's box, and she talks
Ayo.
about dicks, and her box is always open.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, Nirvana just plays openly in the background.
Yeah.
Hard cut. Short video
Just
package
like that.
about her and Raven. I didn't mind this. At first, I thought, oh no, it's going to be one of those shows. But here's everybody doing their move. Here's people
Hmm.
interacting. You can see the different relationships forming. Okay. And after a while, I was sitting there and I was noticing the music that was playing. And I was like, were you a big fan of Dragon Ball Z at this, like, roughly this period, late 90s, early 2000s? Were you like a
Most
fan of Dragon?
definitely. Most definitely.
If I were to start singing Linkin Park, would you have flashbacks to like Kamehamehas? Do you know what I'm getting at here?
Yes.
Because this literally felt like, what are they called? AMVs, anime music videos, or whatever they
Yes.
were at the
Yeah.
time. Because there's just popular music's playing, and then just like super kick, DDT,
Yeah.
suplex, wow! And I was like, this really, really feels like a Beavis and Butthead segment.
I thought
Like
it was
if
cool. I love the music interludes though. It's good music too. As long as it's good music, I don't mind.
I will say this, as much as it's cliche, I didn't mind it. Like as I was kind of chuckling along with it, but at the same time, I was like, all right, I grew up with this stuff, so okay.
Totally.
2 minutes in, we finally get the ECW intro video, and it's just another music video clip show. Um, Finally, Joey Styles, and he explains the story of the next match, which is going to be Ray versus Psychosis. And I thought they did something kind of weird, but cool. I'll give them credit for trying. They cut to this extreme encyclopedia, and it's like
Yeah.
a page out of a book, and it shows Ray, and it's like pronounces the name phonetically, like psychosis phonetically. As much as I feel like that's an insult, there's another part of me it's like, that's fair. How do I
Yeah,
pronounce Psicosis?
I felt like
Psychosis?
that was kind of a.
Psychosis?
I felt like that was a WWE touch right there. Like that's something you would see in the WWE, and it was. I thought it
Right.
was hilarious.
But to be fair, it wasn't necessarily like a put down on them. And it was
Right.
like, we're helping explain these people that are different and have different sounding names and give them a little bit of blur. You can tell that um, Heyman went on to WWE because that felt very much like a heat
Yes.
segment, a little bit. But I thought this was funny. Okay, so it's Extreme Encyclopedia Ray Psychosis. Are you guys hyped? Dudley Boys.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna try to not be so hectic, but the editing of the show is hectic, so I'm gonna try to
Very much.
minimize this as much as possible. But we get a Dudley Brothers promo, and if you guys are looking at the screen, you might notice that there's something odd about what we're looking at. Can you name every Dudley in this segment?
Uh, I know there's Big Dick Dudley, there's Sign Guy Dudley, there's Bubba. I forget the other
Oh man,
ones.
you're knocking this out of the park. But the next two are were tricky for me.
I'm drawing a blank on the last two. I really
We
am.
have we have five people in this promo. We have Ray Dudley, Big Dick Dudley, Dances with Dudley, Sign
Dance.
Guy Dudley, and Dudley Dudley. And his
That's
name is
it.
Dudley because both his parents had the last name Dudley.
I love the Dudley
Man, this
lore.
sure is the 90s, but Bubba doesn't really say much. Dudley does the promo. Do you have any comments on this like early iteration of the Dudley brothers?
I
Dudley.
love. That's one of the things that I really loved about early ECW was that they could get away with this kind of thing, and like the whole story of it all is that Big Daddy Dudley was a whore.
Traveling
He was
salesman.
a
Yeah.
traveling salesman. He would go door to door and deposit whatever. But I've always been a huge fan of the Dudleys, man, the Dudley family, and especially when they went heel. I mean, when they went super heel to the point to where they would start damn near riots. I mean, they were over like Rover in my book, and I've always been the type to
Oh,
love the heels.
we'll see them again later in the show, but it will not be the iteration you're talking about,
Right.
unfortunately. 7 minutes in, we finally get a shot of the arena for today. And like I said earlier, we are at the ECW slash 2300 arena. Cage Match says there are 1,100 people in attendance. Do you believe that?
No, not 1100. Not in that
Not
place.
1,100. I think there's something fishy about that number because even the next one's higher, and it's like it's the same show. So I think
Right.
maybe what would you guess? 300-400 people.
I would get. I would put my biggest guess at
If
max probably
you
500 to 600. Five
if
hundred
you said
max.
525 to me, I'd say yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, I
Like
would say
not
like
that
that at
many.
the most. At the most 500.
I wonder if I could just look up what the fire code is for that building and just see if that's what it is. But
It's probably easy to
we
find.
have the first match and the main event, first time on Road Trip Wrestling for an episode that we were watching because the first match that we're going to talk about tonight is a best 2 out of 3 falls. A little bit
Mhm.
of a rare stipulation. We don't see that all the time, but we have two relatively unknown wrestlers. We could talk about them as we experience them because I don't think you have any history with these two guys. Um, I'm taking the piss. You jump in as we go because out first is Psychosis wearing a white and black jumpsuit, full body.
Mhm.
He is okay. This says, I think I messed up. This says, nope, 24 years old, 6 years experience. his trainers are Phobia and Rey Mysterio, and
Hmm.
he comes out wearing like a Jushin Liger type shoulder.
Yeah,
Uh,
that was
covering.
cool actually.
You ever see the Green Ranger? It
Yeah.
was like that with dangly bits. But have you heard of this person, Psychosis, at all? Just at all?
Oh yeah, I mean, I've been like a huge fan of his because I also discovered him in ECW as well before I seen him in WCW, and the matches between him and Rey Mysterio that they would have would surpass a lot of matches that ECW had at the time because they would steal the show. Literally, they would steal the whole show. And yeah, I have so many memories of watching Ray and Psychosis both.
Speaking of Ray, out second, Ray Mysterio. It makes you want to roll your R's. He's wearing like purple tights with
Hmm.
mask with yellow like accents about it. It feels very like going back to the Green Ranger. It feels very like Power Rangers, Super Sentai, Kamen Rider, that Tokusatsu kind of. This
Yeah.
is a superhero. And what I kind of like about it is 21 years old, 6 years experience, Ray, trained by Ray Sr., probably obviously. Um, does this look like a teenager to you?
If you didn't know anything about Rey Mysterio, you would probably assume he was a teenager. You would probably assume
Okay.
how the hell they let this kid in there.
So we're in the 90s. We're in the grunge 90s, the offensive 90s. And we have two people who are not they don't look like the people that are in the seats, is what I'm trying to say. They're a bit
Hmm.
different. There's some odd. And I'm like, you're watching an old movie and you like see something and you're like, oh, it's about to get highly offensive. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like, is this about to
Hmm.
1930s movie and a black character walks in? You go, is this about to be one of those? So
Right.
Joel Gerdner. I have a reason for saying this. It's not Joel Gerdner is in the ring with two people from not his country. And I went,
Right.
here it comes. Here is here is them calling Eddie Guerrero a jumping blank. Here comes. But Joel Gerdner, in honest, from what I can tell, gives the announcements in Spanish.
Yeah.
In the
Yeah.
red corner, Rey Mysterio. In the blue corner, Psychosis to one fall. Chef's kiss. Good touch. Good touch. And
Mm.
as soon as I was thinking that, we get off with a big dive and a Rana for the first fall, and they slow it down, brother.
Yeah. It was a good pacing. Good pacing.
Yeah, I tried to not just list move,
Yeah.
but
Because it was a
they
spot
let
fest.
you go. Yeah,
Yeah.
Ray shines a lot though. There's a lot of letting him do springboards, letting him do spinny
Hmm.
stuff, flippy boys. A lot of Psychosis is heat is like PK's elbow. Like very
Hmm.
almost like Memphis heels, slow it down. And then he would do one big dive like a quarter of the way through. So if you're playing bingo along with us, we have a dive, check that off. Um, Psychosis catches Ray off a springboard moonsault. Pile driver went out
Amazing.
1-1. Oh, and I love the fact that, okay, so not only do we do a cool move, which is springboard moonsault, he catches a bang pile driver. That's the fall. It's not kick
Yeah.
out at two, go on.
I mean, and it makes sense. I mean, after that part, you have to sell that. You have to, not kick out of that. How you? I mean, how?
And I have to benefit this stipulation. They give room for that. Because
Mm.
that was awesome. Just take the fall now. You're going to have to take a fall
Right.
later. It doesn't change anything. Bang. Slow it down. But I as soon as I'm watching this, I went, hey, uh, it's not so often on Road Trip Wrestling, but I can say this match has a story. This match has
Mm.
pacing. Ray's the super athlete, and Psychosis is just trying to slow down this Wunderkind. Like how can I
Yeah.
like work the leg? How can I do leg bars and arm bars? Uh, but yeah, I thought that was a good touch. Unfortunately, we have to cut to commercial. It is a television show. Okay, I'm not gonna be so hard on it. It's just one of those like, oh, okay. But when we come back, I'll give them credit. They say at a 2 out of 3 falls, it's 1-1. These are the 2 falls. This is the one for Ray. This is the one for
Hmm.
Psychosis. Now we're back to action. Hey, that's the story. You know what I
Exactly.
mean? You're catching us up, and you're keeping us like ready. Um, we get a broken table. Check it off the bingo card. Psychosis does a dive over the ropes and into the chairs. And I had a
Yeah.
moment going, I'd never be able to jump that far.
I mean, he got some distance, dude. I'm like, yeah, you have to have, work. You have to have a workout regimen. You have to discipline yourself in order to be that athletic to make a jump that far. I mean, dude, you have to
Okay,
hinder
hear,
these
hear me
these
out.
people.
Hear me out. You and me apparently are equal, kind of equal age group here. This is what happens when you have two working knees. This
Right.
is Psychosis is 24. Okay, there's a little bit of difference between them at this point and us. This is they have springs in their feet.
Yeah.
This is oh um after
And
that
Ray's still out here doing it now. If you think about it, Ray's still out here jumping around everywhere.
oh my goodness, that's a whole different topic altogether. But we get a chair shot, so let's cross that off the bingo.
Hmm.
And Ray is fighting on the outside and just showing so much like fire,
Yeah.
passion. This is someone who's on their last legs and is just trying to fight their way through it. But unfortunately, Seacoast's hits what I'm calling a Harlem hangover, but you could correct me if I'm wrong. It's sort of like that diving, twisting, flippy leg drop,
Yeah. I
kind of.
would. Yeah, I would call it the Harlem Hangover. I would call it that.
I can't remember if the Harlem hangover is like this way or if it's front, but yeah, let's call it the
No, the
Harlem
back,
hangover.
the back, the back, the backflip leg drop. I think Two Cold Scorpio used to do.
I love that both these are references are both phenomenal wrestlers, but
Yeah.
uh, in I thought I had the time limit here, but this is like a 25-minute match on a 40-minute show. I
Hmm.
am definitely impressed with these two, and the crowd is extremely happy. And
Yes.
they just keep clapping. Like the crowd just keep clapping. So, do you agree with the crowd? Are you happy with this match? Like, is this
Absolutely. I think that's what ECW did the best was that they didn't have the $1 million production that WWE had, but they did have good action. They had great matches, and I think that sold it more than anything could.
and I'll agree with one very specific thing that I'm driving home in this podcast. The wrestling. These guys had a story. They had ups and downs. They fought inside. They fought outside. They did dives. They put their like Ray's just throwing bones by the end of it, like trying his best
Yeah.
just to survive. And it's like you. I've been using this expression a lot. I've learned it from Hanare in New Japan, but there was a match where they had a big strike exchange and he just yelled at the top of his lungs, "Show me your mana!" Like he's Maori, so that's your spiritual power. Show me
Hmm.
your fighting spirit, and that's kind of instilled on me. And I will say, double check marks. Both these boys, they show tons of mana, tons of heart, put their bodies on the line. Oh, I
Yes.
cannot like. Oh my god, praise this enough. This is phenomenal. Can you believe that both these people went on to have phenomenal careers?
Absolutely. I could totally believe that. I mean, you can look at them at this point in their life and they're young, budding superstars, kind of
We're
getting
in
their footing as
21.
far as exactly in their early
Yeah.
20s. And I mean, at that point in time, I think if you were a true wrestling fan, you could tell that they were going places. both of them. And I mean, to this day, I mean, I have like the ECW One Night Stand, and with that, I got a best of ECW matches, and they have a whole bunch of ECW's best matches. Two of those matches are with Ray and Psychosis. They have some of the best matches ever in ECW.
Yeah, these guys had for the time, the traditional lucha career path
Hmm.
where ECW, there's a little bit of New Japan, All Japan, that kind of area over there. But then it
Hmm.
became WCW opened up. Oh, they're doing pretty good in WCW, and some of the Mexicans, going to Japan when they can. And then it's like, bam, WWE. Ray became a superstar. Psychosis, not so much, but I would still say Psychosis is a extremely fondly remembered name,
Yes,
if not like a Hall of Fame career having person. So,
I agree.
this
Yeah.
was not the worst first match to dive into this show. Like, hey, this is pretty good. All right, I'll
Yeah.
do this. I'll do this every day. And then it cuts to a back of the house promo, which is the good old fashioned standing in front of a ECW flag. As much as it's charming, the other part of me is like, do you ever see Beyond the Mat?
Yes.
Do you ever see the section where they showed Paulie cutting these promos in his
Right.
Mom versus
Yeah.
Spaceman? So every
Hmm.
time I see this, I think,
They're in his
well,
mom's
he's gonna
basement.
be done soon. Like I just imagine him, his family on the other side, which to me isn't insulting but sort of endearing. Like this is a homemade
Yeah.
project. It's a community project. If you're playing bingo along with us, mentioning WWE, check that out.
There you go.
The one thing I did chuckle at is at it's I think there's a little segment where it's like talking about ECW and it says inactive number, do not call. And I just sort of giggled where it's like that's probably a porno. That's probably a porno line.
Probably by now.
I know. So we cut back to Joey Styles. Have we talked about Joey Styles yet? Can we? Do you want to take a minute just to
Yeah, we can talk about him. I
highlight
love
Joey
Joey.
Styles? Yeah, because he just lets us know about the Gangsters versus Public Enemy, and he does a pretty good job of at explaining it. And maybe we can start there because as an announcer, to be a one man crew, you
Hmm.
got to be on the ball at explaining what's going on and why.
Yeah, he was always good at it, man. He was always good at the one man show. And I think that's something that he never got credit for ever in his career. He never got credit for being the voice of ECW. I mean, the ECW fans, of course, we all love him. But I think as far as the wrestling business as a whole, he never got the credit he deserved.
The observation I'll make about Joey Styles when he's calling matches is he's very good at when there's a big pressure moment of reminding us what what's brought us here and
Hmm.
what's on the line. So when like Tommy Dreamer's punching Raven, he's gonna be like, "This is for every time you hit him with a chair." So
Yeah,
as the action's going, he's sort of doing the exposition along with it,
he can convey it all. I know. Yeah,
which is
he's like
very
one of
much
those.
like
He's brilliant at that.
it's very much like the Terminator. This is maybe a weird
Yes,
analogy, but the
I can see that.
Terminator during the action scenes while they're being chased, the guy's driving and
Hmm.
he's going, "I'm from the future. I'm from blah 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 cyber." So during the action scene, they're explaining the exposition instead of you and me stopping to have like Django Unchained.
Right.
They have a great scene where they stop to have a beer,
Hmm.
which is a great scene, but it's kind of funner when they're having a beer on the road going full speed. So I can I,
Right.
I can totally appreciate Joey Styles. Has he aged well? Some of his stuff not so much, but I think that's just the time period. You know
Yeah.
what I
Yeah.
mean? He says some things. I don't know if the cat fight is really aged as well as we total elimination. That throttle. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know if like
That's got to make you hoarse after a while.
oh my god. So wait a minute. Cage Match said there was only one match on this show, and it's cutting to a second match. I don't want to spoil it, but they don't spend too much time on it, so we're not going to spend too much time on it. But we have a lumberjack match apparently with Raven and Stevie versus the Pitbulls. So I'm going to skip over my normal entrance for a match, and you will see why. Because if everybody comes out, hard cut. Both the Pitbulls are down, and there's a gurney, and the medics are taking out Pitbull 1.
Yeah, he's injured.
So we're talking about, this is like TikTok speed. We're talking here because hard cut.
Yeah, boom, 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 boom.
The Dudleys are out. This is like, okay, this might be a bad analogy. Don't do drugs, kids. But have you ever been like really messed up and you're just catching like glimpses? That's what this felt like. You're kind of falling asleep in a movie. And you just, whoa, and you're like, oh, the Dudleys are out. 911 is there. Hard cut. 911 hits a bunch of choke slams.
That was awesome.
Hard cut. Raven over the top rope pulls Pitbull through a table. Now Cactus Jack is out. What's happening? Raven hits a Raven gets a 3 count. That was the match.
That was it.
Raven and Stevie are now the champions. What? What is? Okay, I'm going to stop for a moment. I get a little bit excited. Mr. Jacobs, you're a 5-star man. Tell me what just happened.
I mean, to be honest with you, I lost track after 911 started choke slamming. And I mean, I can't lie. It was chaotic as hell, but I loved every second of it. I loved every second of it all. And I guess just for me at the time, it was the little teenage me just loving every second of this, just rewatching it all. And then to have the ending come out the way it did, I thought it was kind of hilarious personally. And I don't know, I've always been such a huge, first of all, I was always a huge fan of 911. 911 was always my dude. I loved 911 when I was young. And watching him just choke slamming everybody to hell, it was amazing. It was freaking amazing and awesome to watch again. I loved it. I can't help it.
For the fans at home watching along, have you ever watched a terrible movie that just has a bunch of cars crashing? This movie sucks, but they smashed like 50 cars, dude. Like, you ever see the end of the Blues Brothers? That's what I'm like. Yeah. This is what happens. 911 is the final scene of the Blues Brothers, and that's fine. So, a little bit serious of a question. Is this a clip of a match that they were just trying to highlight? Or was there something that happened in this match that they're like, we can't show this on TV. We got to take this out.
That's a good question.
Because these are hard cuts, and they're not on the card of the show on Cage Match. So maybe the person on Cage Match decided this wasn't worth it, or the person, like, because this was presented as a match. They came out, they had entrances.
Yeah.
Hard cut. So
I don't know, because I know when they won the tag team titles, that was leading to something. I'm just not, I'm to me, it wasn't a bad match as far as like, from bill to bill. I thought it was pretty exciting and fun. That's just the ECW head, ECW fanboy in me. But
I'll say this. Look, I was entertained by this. We're going to take a step back and sort of look at it from a logical point of view. I'm not trying to pick it apart and be pedantic, but it was like, I wish they said at the beginning that this was just clips and didn't present it as a match and then sort of like rug pull. You know what I mean? That's my only pedantic sort of argument. If you just said, hey, we got a clip of the show, we want to catch you up with what happened, here's going to be 2 minutes of a match, I'm fine with that. Like, that's fine. But I just thought this was a odd sort of hard cut. But maybe that's us flipping our feet up. You know what I mean? Next part of the match. I don't need to see this. Up next, Bill Alfonso cuts an in-ring promo. Check that off the bingo list. Joey Styles lets us know what's going on next week. I love these kind of who, what, where, why, when promos. One of these names, I don't know if you've ever heard of this guy. Have you? I might be saying this right. Stavave Uestin? Stave Austin? Stave Ustin? Have you heard of
Steve
Steve
Houston.
Austin? Is this a name? I don't know how to pronounce this. Is this like a local regional American name? Steve Austin?
Steve Houston.
Is that?
But yeah,
I'm
man. I
not.
mean, I do remember when he came in, whenever he first came into ECW, he was like he was on a mission to let the whole world know that he was fed up with Eric Bischoff and he did not like him. And Paul Heyman, being the genius that he was like, you know what, I got a TV show. Hey, come say what you got to say, man. And it made for great television. It made for some of
Yeah,
the best television.
I will say it's sort of an ear peak moment when they're like, next week this person, that person, and Steve Austin. You're like, who? Go back again. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like there's this small regional 90s grungy building with all these kind of low level wrestlers, and they're like, hey, you know the closest thing to like a wrestling god? Yeah, 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 that guy is gonna be here. Sorry, what? It's like if you said Hercules showed up to a wrestling show, you'd go, sorry, who?
Right.
Hercules.
Hercules.
But I think it's very polite of Joey Styles because he says goodbye, and then it cuts to Public Enemy in the ring, and I went, is this a mess up? Did they mess up editing, or is this our '90s quick
A little flashback to the
attention
90s.
spans? Yeah, because Public Enemy come out and Gangsters come out, and it just says to be continued, and I was like, oh shit, they got me because I thought this was another match that they were sneaking in, but this was just a little build up to what's going on
Yeah.
next week. Okay, all right, you got me. I'll give you credit on that one. Uh, Sandman promo. He's having a smoke. What's there to tell? He's and I feel like if I were to name every promo that happens right now, we'd be here for an hour because they just like bam, bam, bam,
Yeah.
bam, bam. 5 or 6 promos, 6 or 7 promos, and they're all sort of terrible, except they give Foley, I don't know, 30 seconds, 45 seconds at the end.
Hmm.
And this was a solid promo to just cap off the show. Do you have any thoughts of 95 Mick Foley?
I think at that time he was also one of the guys who was the talk of different promotions at the same time, and he had also had a war with Eric Bischoff at some point. And I mean, I think ECW was a perfect place for Cactus Jack Mick Foley to kind of, I guess you could say, broaden his horizons, because he did a lot of stuff with Japan and a lot of other stuff. But I think ECW is where he got to actually, flex his hardcore muscle. You know what I mean?
I like saying the expression. It's like trying to prove a point match. Like you can
Mhm.
tell when a performer's going out, and you're like, this guy's trying to prove a point. Like
Yeah.
sometimes it's sarcastic with Shawn Michaels and Hulk Hogan, but sometimes it's earnest, like Foley is known to do, and go out there and put his body on the line. Darby Allin's the same, like where you go, oh, going back to that expression, you're showing me your mana. That's you. That's your. I can tell you're letting
Yeah.
it go. This isn't a facade. This is a real person. You have character. Oh my God, this is a beautiful little time capsule. As much as it's covered in dirt and we're trying to brush that away, there are still little gems underneath all that dirt.
Absolutely.
Unfortunately, that's the end of the first episode, but not the end of this episode. So hit it, Johnny. No, I'm not actually going to cut the music in here. I just thought I'd do that joke because I love that joke. But we are back in the ECW arena. I'm not going to do the whole intro because it's all the exact same information. The
Hmm.
only difference is it is February 20th, 1996, and there are 1,300 people in attendance. Do you agree with that?
Okay, let's just say there is, and let's just say there is. We'll go
I
with
like
that.
your number. I like your number, the 5,600. I feel like that because it's the same building, it's the same crowd.
Yeah.
I think you nailed it. I think you nailed it on the head with that one. So yeah, cage match. I don't know what you did, but you did it wrong. This episode opens with the Sandman spitting. Nah, I don't like it. I don't like
Missy
it. Same
Hyatt
for
with her sexual in innuendos. The lovely Mrs. Missy Hyatt.
yeah, I don't like it. Moving on, hard cut, opening match. It's a fine promo. It's a Sandman promo. There's nothing we really need to highlight. He's hardcore. He's
Right.
whatever. Like
We get
it's
it.
serviceable. They're getting him over. That's fine. But there's nothing for us as reviewers to kind of latch on to. So we're moving on. Opening match, 6-man tag team match. I'm gonna smash through these guys because there are 6 people I don't think I've ever heard of.
Me neither.
First team, Judge Dredd and the Bad Crew, which is the 90th thing ever. They're
Very
called
90s.
Dog. They're called Dog and Rose individually, the Bad Crew, and the other team is Dino Sandoff, Don E. Allen, and the Dirt Bike Kid.
Okay, I've seen the Dirt Bike Kid though. I've seen
Can we
him.
stop and say the Dirt Bike Kid is a great 90s gimmick?
Oh yes.
Like how
Like
many how many movies have we seen where that's that Disney character template, you know?
it's very 90s. So 90s I can't stand it.
Okay, so let's smash through these guys. Dread, black shirt, blue jeans with black shin guard things. I don't know if they're kick pads, but they're like Mad Max shin guards.
Yeah.
31 years old, 5 years experience. This is an FMW guy. Are you aware of Frontier Martial Arts Wrestling?
Yes, I've seen. I do remember seeing. I believe it was him that got the crap kicked out of him. I think. I
For
think. I think that was the Dirt Bike Kid that got beat the hell up.
For those unaware, the FMW company is the one where Cactus Jack went over, and it's notorious for hardcore stuff, death match in this period. Dog and Rose, black tights, white shirt. Dog is 41, 7 years experience, trained by Steve Kern and Jimmy Del Rey. Sexy
Hmm.
Del Rey. Rose, I couldn't find a birthday. It said 4 years experience. These guys are there. They're. Do you have any thoughts on these guys after seeing them in the ring?
I mean, you know what? If they're able to work and do it, and go ahead and go. I mean, hey, who am I? Who am I to say anything?
All right. On the other side, quickly, Dino. That's it. Black shirt, black pants, 2 years experience. Trained by JT Smith, and Larry Winters. Don, black shirt, black shorts, 7 years experience. Trained by Joey Maggs, Rock and Rebel. Okay. Dirt bike kid, he's out lovely in a full dirt bike outfit. It's someone not wearing a black shirt and blue jeans. Great, great. Thumbs up. 32 years, 33 years old, 2 years experience, trained by Bill Anderson. Trained
Hmm.
by Bill Anderson, which I thought was like, is that everyone's old white neighbor? Go, go get Bill. I need to borrow his ladder. You know what I mean? It just screams like
Hmm.
one of those like down the hall, he's probably an old Polish guy or whatever. But anyway, I'm gonna say this wasn't a match. I'm gonna be polite though and use the word match a few times. This was a 6-man squash match. There was no tags. There was no
No.
psychology. Do you ever play one of those old video games and it's just like moves, 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 moves?
Yes.
That's what this felt like. Fortunately, Sandman comes in after the pinfall, cleans house. He says, "Let's get extreme," and leaves. The crowd pop. Do you have any thoughts on this match? This elaborate, thought out match that means so much to the storyline of what's going on.
I think the whole thing was just set up for the Sandman to just go in there and just wipe everybody out with the King. I mean, that was all it was for. I mean, really, the match was just set up so the Sandman could get
That's
so they can further along the story of the Sandman, pretty much.
we cut to the opening video package. Oh my god! Holy crap! Okay, Joey Styles is in the ring. We get a lower third. Check that out for the bingo card. He mentions
Hmm.
the ECW Internet Convention, and I went, "Oh, that's it. Oh, ooh, oh, that's a timepiece. It's like finding an
That was
old.
a thing,
I have a Blockbuster VHS case. It's like, oh, Internet
man.
Convention. Love it.
Nostalgia
Lights go.
right there.
The lights go out. Classic. Do you want to walk us through this segment? Do you?
Yeah, I would love to, man. Lights go out as they always did around ECW because that's how they usually did their surprises in ECW. Where, like I said earlier, they didn't have the big production of WWE. They couldn't do big reveals, so what they did the best they could. They turned the lights out, and it was pretty effective, honestly. It was pretty effective. I mean, it worked. And the lights come on, and there is Brian effing Pillman in the middle of the ring. Crowd loses their shit. just just going batshit crazy. And I mean, you gotta think at this time, Brian Pillman was literally the talk of three promotions at the same time. The WWF, WCW, and ECW both wanted to be in the Brian Pillman business. I mean, all three of them wanted to be in the Brian Pillman business. And Brian was soaking it in, man. He was going to every promotion because at the time he didn't know definitively where he was going, but he was playing the game and he was so smart at it. He was so freaking smart. And he was playing the game the way it should be played. And he would make his appearance there. And I mean, you would think, the crowd having the certain reaction they had, that he was going to be like, I'm glad to be here. And da 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 da. No, he goes right in on them, right in on them. And I freaking loved it. And I have in my notes, he says, and I quote, he says, I'm gonna yank out Mike Johnson and piss in this hellhole. And then he actually attempts to do it, and then everybody comes out. Paul E comes out. I mean, what a segment, man. This is probably one of the coolest moments that's ever happened in the ECW arena, really, was Brian Pillman just coming out of nowhere. That and whenever the King came in to the ECW arena. Those probably two of
So
the coolest moments.
yeah, I just want to step back and highlight because you gave a great explanation of what's going on. I just want to add a slight visual so people at home can kind of picture this. Brian Pillman is wearing like very, very light blue jeans. Are they acid wash? I believe it's like
Yes. Acid
extremely
wash.
light blue jean, cowboy boots, a white cutoff shirt like you'd see in a Friday the 13th movie. He's got
Mhm.
a whole cut where his nipple is, so his nipple's sticking out.
Yeah.
And he's wearing a black leather vest. And he's got a cane. I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Has this look aged well?
I mean, for him, he pulls it off, dude. I think he's like the only person that can pull off that look and look cool. But to say has it aged, I don't know. I don't think it's aged right. But I think if somebody was to cosplay like at a Halloween as Brian Pillman, that would be that would be the gear right there. That's what I would
You
wear.
know what? I think you won me over with that argument right there because I was gonna say I don't like this look, but
Hmm.
you nailed it right there. If we were to have a wrestling party and everyone's gonna show up dressed as a wrestler and you showed up like this, 90% of the party would instantly go, "Yep, that's it. I got it." Like Brian Pillman, uh,
Hmm.
this is a notorious promo that I think the promo has not aged well. The moment's fun, but Pillman is focused on two things. Eric Bischoff, he calls him a jerk off and they bleep jerk off, which I thought that's
That
weird,
was
but maybe
weird.
it's 90s television. But okay, so there's still a little bit of censorship back then. So okay, um, he yells at the crowd who are cheering him They're happy to see him, and he's like, "You're all smart marks," and they're like, "Yeah, but we paid to see you. So what
Right.
do you? We could not pay to see you." Um, I okay, love and hate relationship. This is an extremely famous clip. You
Hmm.
cannot have a history of the '90s or a history of the Monday Night Wars or a history of anything without "Cause I'm Brian fucking Pillman." Like, it's a great moment, not the best promo, but yeah. He says he's gonna pull out his Johnson, which is, come on. He could have said something else and just bleeped it out. But um, I made an observation watching this. When they show highlights of this promo, they show the fun reaction parts. Do you
Hmm.
think there's a reason WWE doesn't show this whole promo?
Oh, most definitely. Maybe because of the attempted murder of the fan. Uh,
I think it's a bit wandering. And you know what I mean? It doesn't necessarily nail its marks where it needs to, but we learn what we need to know. He's here and he's sort of in control because Joey Styles calls him the professional wrestling's loose cannon. I kind of went, is that the first time they called him that?
I believe so. Like out loud.
Yeah, maybe. But yeah, okay. Coming up next, we got a tag team match with the Bruise Brothers versus the Headhunters. Ron, 35 years old, 9 years experience. Don, 35 years old, 9 years experience. These two guys are most famous for wrestling in TNA wearing SS Nazi shirts.
Oh
So
yeah.
fuck these two. Moving on, Headhunter A and Headhunter B. A, 28 years old, 10 years experience. B, 28 years old, 10 years experience. I believe these guys are twins. They kind of build this up as a twin versus twin match, but
Mm.
these boys are headhunters, are from Puerto Rico and already world traveled at this point in their career. 5 seconds in, we are on the outside. I made an observation that both these teams are both twins, so I have no idea who's who. Ron and Don are interchangeable names, and Headhunter A and B are interchangeable names. So okay. Um, there's a lot of brawling and chair shots. The only interesting thing, we'll move on quick because I don't want to highlight half of this show, half of this match. The only interesting thing is you hit your finish, I get hit with your partner's finish. We both get pinned at the exact same time. Like 1, 2, 3 happens at the same moment.
Hmm.
That's not bad. That's not bad. The Bruise Brothers are counted the winners. The crowd chants. Moving on.
Yeah, that's a
Um,
decent match.
yeah, it's a brawl. It's a walking brawl. If you like blood, if you like chairs, if you like smacking people around, uh, I mean, it's an ECW match. I like part of my
Yeah,
brain's like to highlight half of this. Let's
yeah,
just
it's
say
typical
the
ECW.
Headhunters are phenomenal in this match. Yeah, yeah. Triple dog collar 6-man tag team match. Francine and the Pitbulls versus Stevie Richards and the Eliminators. Francine, 24 years old, 3 years experience. Pitbulls are both 28 years old with 7 years experience, trained by
Hmm.
Larry Sharp, wearing the same powerlifting singlet. Stevie Richards, wearing Daisy Dukes, 25 years old, 4 years experience. Cronus, it says 35 years old, 7 years experience, trained by Killer Kowalski. Maybe we should ask Killer Kowalski before we start the match. Saturn, 30 years experience, 30 years old, 6 years experience, also trained by
Hmm.
Kowalski. Um, Stevie's attached to Francine. Are they on equal footing, kayfabe? Is that too much?
Uh, I don't. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's professional wrestling. I guess anything can go.
I
Anything can go.
I think it's fine for what they're kind of pushing here. Like they don't kind of
Yeah.
pull. Stevie kicks her right in the mouth to start, and what I kind of think is funny is the dog collars just come off right away.
Yeah.
Hard cut.
They become a non-issue.
Hard, yeah, so hard cut. They're fighting on the stage. Saturn does a flip off it, and I noticed that, like, yeah, half of them are not wearing their collars. Hard cut. Top rope Rana. Joey calls it a reverse victory roll. So I guess we're still in that period of the wrestling evolution where it's not a Hurricane Rana, it's not a Steiner. What was the other one he calls it? Scott Steiner's got his own name for it. But I thought it was funny that we haven't got to that period yet.
No, not yet.
They had the reverse victory roll. I went, oh, that's odd. Hard cut. The Pitbulls hit a super power bomb on the Eliminators. The guy, he like takes up for a power bomb and then like puts it forward, and then the other guy kind of picks him up and throws him.
Yeah.
I'm like, hell yeah, man. Francine finally covers Stevie for the 3. There was another hard cut in there, and they just brawl after. So, any thoughts on this match before we move on?
I mean, it was a match. You know, it was a match.
I can agree with you there.
It further, I guess, it further the storyline. I mean, I'm assuming it did. But I mean, as far as like I said, from the ECW fanboy point of view, I loved it. Watching it with adult eyes, looking back on it, it was a match. That's all I can say about it right now.
I'll say this. There are some times where you got the boys together and you're having a couple smokes, you're having a couple drinks, and you're like, let's just put something on, in the background so we can watch it and not pay attention. Not every wrestling company is good for that. This wrestling company is good for that, because I could watch this if it was on in the back. You and me are having a chat about the week, and we're just watching this as highlights as we're having it. This is phenomenal for that environment. It does help that all these people in this match are phenomenal wrestlers. They do a quick highlight reel of Total Elimination. I'm not going to do that all the time, but we're going to move on. Next match, we have a singles match. Ray Dudley with the whole family versus Mr. Hughes.
Mr. Hughes.
I think everyone collectively went, him? That guy? Out first, Bubba. They're very clear on this. It's not Bubba.
Yeah.
It's Bubba. He comes out wearing the traditional tie-dye and overalls. He's got it like old man, like your dad, ripped at the knee, those jeans.
Yeah.
He is 25 years old with 5 years experience.
25 right there? Wow.
25. His trainer is Sonny Blaze. Out next, Mr. Hughes. I believe there's another name he used, but I'm drawing a blank. But he's wearing, if you've ever seen Mr. Hughes, wearing a white button-up shirt with the tie, with the glasses. He looks like every action movie secondary boss. Not the boss, but like the secondary guy to the boss that they snap their fingers and point, and then that guy gets his ass kicked, and then the boss has
the underboss. The underboss.
Perfect. Thank you. Like, even though they use that in wrestling in Bad Luck Fale, they actually call him the underboss. He's the big heavy for the little leader. But I thought that's fun. Okay, 32 years old, 9 years experience. He was trained by Bob Geigel and Sonny Myers, and I noticed that Bubba literally just comes out to AC/DC.
Yeah.
Me. I might be doing the wrong song, but they're all the same song. Me. No offense to AC/DC or their fans, but it's all similar. These guys brawl. There's a weapon shot 20 seconds in.
Yes.
Bubba hits a splash to win. What? That's it. That's the whole match.
Yeah, that was it.
The entrances were longer than the match.
Pretty much.
So, okay, here's a question. Would you rather take this, or would you rather take the previous match where there was hard cuts?
Honestly speaking, I'd rather take the previous match because it's longer. in my
It was
opinion. I mean,
longer
it's
and it
longer.
had hard cuts.
Yeah,
So yeah,
exactly.
this is odd, but couple last things before we wrap up because, like I said at the beginning, this is the '90s and we got attention spans to deal with. Joey Styles comes to the ring, brings out Tommy Dreamer. Tommy's hurt, brother. He can't do it. Raven comes out, and what I noticed, Raven's a pro, and this is a great segment. I don't know if you noticed, but Raven started physically grabbing people and moving them into their like
Hmm.
marks.
Yeah.
You stand here. You stand here. I need you. What a pro. I feel bad because sometimes we're highlighting negatives in professional wrestling, but there's moments like this where I go, let's highlight a positive. Raven knew what he was doing. I need you guys
Right.
here. What a pro. Tommy got Raven's girlfriend pregnant.
Oh, Jerry, Jerry.
Yeah, I was like, what decade are we in? Because this is 100%. Yeah, they just prepare to die.
Mm.
And that wraps up the show. Is there? Do you want to talk about the Bubba and Hughes quickly before we kind of wrap up this segment here?
And yeah, because the fact is that I've always been fascinated by Mr. Hughes because he's kind of like he's a journeyman kind of. He's been in all kinds of different promotions, just wrestling
And
or
he's
being a
not.
manager. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, I've always been fascinated by him, and of course, you can't go wrong with the Dudleys. And though the match didn't last that long, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. It was a decent match here and there. They didn't waste any time as far as they didn't have a lot of rest holds and all that. It was boom, 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 1, 2, 3. Let's go home. That was. I mean,
As
that's
soon,
fine.
as soon as the bell rang, they said, "Let's get to the finish."
Exactly.
Hey, if
But
it fit the
I
show, the
enjoyed it.
crowd loved it, and that's the golden
Yeah.
rule. How did the crowd respond? The crowd responded strong. So yeah, that's it for the show. So let's head back out to the parking lot and kind of see how we can express our feelings on this show. All right, back out at the 2300 arena. Where do you want to start, Mr. Jacobs, on recapping this episode? There's
I
lots of
think.
avenues of attack.
Oh yeah. Oh man. I think I want to touch on something we didn't touch on at all. I think how they were pushing Taz at this time. They pushed Taz like the mini Brock Lesnar, and it was amazing how they used to push him. And I mean, I was one of those guys who was a huge fan of Taz, and I think when with the Brian Pillman situation, I think that was probably one of the best things that Pillman could do for his career was to make an appearance in the ECW arena, was to get that heel heat because when he
Mm-hmm.
left, he was the talk of the whole place. And I mean, like for a good moment of time, like I said earlier, he was the talk of the town, of the business, and he played it so well. He was a genius at it. But I mean, I think overall, I think what they managed to do with him, because I was able to see what they got to do with Brian Pillman over time in ECW, and I mean you can see that crazy you know side of Pillman being nourished in ECW. You know what I mean? The loose cannon was being nourished in ECW, and I guess you could say flourished in WWE. And I loved it. I loved it.
It's a perfect like place to sharpen your teeth, to use that expression, because a lot of people came in great matches, not weird stuff, but I would say overall for this show, I kind of like the roughness of the vibe. It reminded me
Yeah.
sort of like I grew up watching like old skateboard videos,
Hmm.
and it kind of gave me that feel where it's like this is punk rock. This is kind of on the fly. We're doing what we can with the money we have. Looking back I would say a lot of this could be a little bit more creative. I think like
Hmm.
they're doing stuff to do stuff, but they're not necessarily a lot of depth to it. But it's the
Hmm.
rule of cool, baby. You know what I mean? So it's like
Yeah.
peaks and valleys, swings and roundabouts. Um, like I said earlier, it's funny that even in the 90s, people were worried about attention spans, and we're here in 2026 talking about TikTok and the YouTube shorts and children, and you know what I mean. It's
Yeah.
weird seeing 30 years ago the similar social sort of issues being brought up in entertainment, but not
Mhm.
to hold off on boring topics like that. Okay, so here's the question: what do we do with the matches that are cut off and some of these promos that are like 10 seconds? Do we
Mm.
keep the short promos and keep the matches short, or do we let the matches talk more to let like to not have the promos, because there's a lot of like 10-second promos in this.
Yeah. I mean, personally, for me, I think it'd be better if the matches told the story. If you allow the matches to breathe. And I mean,
I,
from as a wrestling fan, as much of a wrestling fan as I am, I want to see a wrestling match with a story. Because it's
mhm.
not. It's. I mean, having a promo, that's cool. You can have a promo that's a minute long, and that can nail it, and then you can have a 15-minute match, 10-minute match, whatever have you. And I mean, I'm happy with that. That I will. Me as a fan, I want a longer match with a story, within the match.
And to kind of add on to that point, there are so many 10-second promos that it fills up time. But when you stop and you take a look at one 10-second promo, you kind of go, well, what was really said in this 10 seconds? Was this 10
Hmm.
seconds enough for this person who's not great at promos to begin with? I'm not knocking any of these people, but I don't know if Pitbull number one is Mick Foley. That's what I'm trying to get at. Mick can do that,
Yeah.
but the Pitbulls can't. So is this a detriment? Because now I've seen a crappy promo by someone, and after watching it, I have no new information about who you are, what you're doing, what the who, I, where, why, when. Those I don't
Yeah.
know what I just saw. So is that a
I think that is a
detriment?
detriment. Yeah.
Because you see all these people and you go, well, what is the Sandman's character other than he has a ladder, he has a grill, and he has a smoke? That might be
Mm.
a sarcastic answer because the Sandman's a little bit not the most three-dimensional characters, but you follow where I'm going with this, right? Like
Yeah.
Foley can show you that he's got mana and passion and he's trying to do something, but the Pitbulls can't, Raven can, Stevie can't. There's hits and misses, but
Yeah.
yeah, the first match we watch, I don't know what rating we're going to start using on this show. 2 thumbs up, 5 stars. Great match. The rest of them,
Yeah. He did go down a little bit, but the first one was amazing.
mm, I there is a reason why that episode is famous. It's
Hmm.
Pillman. Pillman kind of carries it up to the high water. So fair enough. It's American TV wrestling. Um, I can say okay. Well, I can say the wrestling is not the center of focus for
Hmm.
these shows that we watched. I like that might be controversial because we saw a really good match at the beginning. They still put a lot of focus on showing clips of the wrestlers being characters in the ring.
Yeah.
This is Raven, this is Pitbull, this is what they're doing. They're telling the stories between the ropes. So as much as I'm like, there's a part of me that's like, well, I saw more wrestling here than I saw in Memphis wrestling, both modern and
Mm.
retro.
Yeah.
So as much as it's got that kind of ADHD attitude, there was mana, there was character, there was wrestling in this. So yeah, I don't know how you want to like review it in like 2 words or as least amount of words as possible, but what are your thoughts on this show now that we've kind of gone through it all? How would you describe it?
I Yeah, I do agree with the hard cuts. It is kind of boom, 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 boom right at you. But yeah, that's speaking for the time. I mean, that's exactly how it was at the time. It was very in your face, very fast cuts, Dutch angles, it was very much like that. I mean, that was kind of their way of going against the grain. You know what I mean? And it was their charm. Um, but going back and looking at old ECW, it's very nostalgic for me, and I've always had a special place for it in my heart as a wrestling fan. So I enjoyed it. I loved it. And that's me being the ECW fanboy. Um, and I can also see from another standpoint, that there are some issues. Yes, there are. It was a lackluster here and there, sure. But as somebody who grew up watching this, I'm always going to have that love for it. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
I give it my approval.
and it's to use a metaphor I've been kind of using on this show. If we're going to compare pro wrestling to a concert, this is a punk rock show that you paid $5 to get in, and halfway through the show, you turn to your friend and you go, this is a pretty good show.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like small
Mhm.
atmosphere, but everyone's hyped. You may not know all the bands, you may not know all the songs, but everything that your ears are hearing, your eyes are seeing, you're like, this is good stuff. This is great. Bad news for me. I did not get a bingo this episode. It was way too spread out, but hopefully with your five that you've added, I will add it to the bingo card, update the link, so hopefully you can at home can use this bingo card for any wrestling show that you watch, whether it be road trip wrestling or not. If you have a company that you would like to recommend, this goes to you, Mr. Jacob, as well. I'm always open to open ears for companies. If you have a company that you would like to see us review, just let us know. Leave a
Cool.
comment, all of that. Anything positive, negative. Before we get out of here, do you have any kind of final thoughts?
I know it was great just going back and watching old ECW. Period. I love watching old ECW. That's and the thing is, it's hard to find now since they've pretty much destroyed the whole library in WWE Network. I mean WWE. It's hard to find it now, whereas before it was so easy to get hold of the old hardcore TV and all that stuff. But now you have to be like it, you have to be like it was, back in the '90s. You have to go looking for it now. Sadly,
Yeah.
but I loved it. I love it.
Okay, so before we leave, Miss Joe Gibbs, how can people watching find you if they're enjoying your voice and your opinions? Where can they click on the internet to find what you do?
I hear on excuse me, flipping on my words here on YouTube. My YouTube channel is Can't Stop Productions. I'm on Twitch as well. You can find me on Twitch, Mr. Jacobs 420. But yeah, it's where you can find me here on the internet. And yeah, thanks for having me on once again.
Oh, no problem. Thank you, Mr. Jacobs, for being my co-pilot today. Back in the '90s, like always, I am the driver on the road. Trip Wrestling, Paul Rogers. But yes, thanks everybody. Thank you specifically, Mr. Jacobs, and
No
everybody
problem.
have a good evening, a good night, good afternoon, whatever you may have.